to see you. Hi, everyone. Great to have you all here. We have a very powerful live session tonight. We're going to talk about the power of crystals and exactly why are they so powerful for soul healing, right? So I love it that some of the Cardinal Method practitioners are here, people from A Course in Human Nature, people from our Crystals and Chakras meditation series. And before we even start, I just want to say, please like this video. Please share it with people you know will benefit from this. And just tell everybody that you know that we have a community of like-minded people here who are creating together a vortex of energy. So I really appreciate it when you guys interact with me in the live sessions. So it's not just my monologue, because I know everybody has something to contribute with, right? You have your life experiences, you have your questions. Some of the best things that we've ever touched upon in the live sessions have come from the questions that you guys are asking. So please don't be shy about your questions and just sharing your experiences. I keep looking up because I'm monitoring both Instagram and YouTube, and we're doing this simultaneously. So keep looking up to see what people are saying, and the ones who are coming live. Just want to thank you again for being here, and the ones who are watching the recording. I know that most people can't be here live. So this is the reason why we record this, and then we put it in IGTV, and it's available on YouTube as well. If you haven't yet signed up to our YouTube channel, make sure you do that. And if you're not following us on Instagram yet, make sure you do that too, okay? So please ask your questions. I'll be so happy to answer them. I see Via Natural Medicine. Nice to see you. People from different areas of the world, right? This is so exciting. I was really blown away by the people who are participating in our Cardinal Method online constellations. We're going to come back to those soon. And different time zones, and those were not excuses not to participate, right? We had to find a specific time that would be, reasonable for most of the time zones. And here we are creating this world connection, right, with the Cardinal Method, which is incredible and amazing. So welcome everybody who's here. Those who are here for the first time, thank you for coming to our channels, and please come back always, okay? And those who've been here for a while, you're already familiar with what we do. So what we're accomplishing, I believe, is soul healing if needed, consciousness expansion, and the joy of life with theory and new concepts that expand your mind. And the whole purpose of this is so that you start resetting your neural pathways, if you will, with new information, and creating a much better, more fulfilling life, not only for yourself, but for everyone around you. This is something that really is important that we understand. The more we work on ourselves, the more we benefit everyone around us. It creates a ripple effect of benefits for people who are not even working on themselves. You raise the vibration of your surroundings by working on yourself. That's why I always tell people, don't impose help on others. Don't point the finger and say, you need healing. You need to work on yourself. We don't do this, okay? There's no such thing as imposed help. If someone wants help or needs help, let them ask for it. You do not want to steal their effort, because their effort makes them stronger. And when it comes to crystals, we're going to start talking about them now. They raise the vibrational frequency just because of their presence. The presence of crystals raises the vibration of the environment and of the person that they're in contact with. And the reason why that happens is, first and foremost, they are beings of nature that do not understand duality, good or bad, all these labels, and they don't have consciousness of separation. So it's not me versus you, or me or you. We're all one, ultimately, right? And crystals, plants, and animals are in this state of union. So when we don't have separation within, we are connected to higher consciousness automatically. So crystals remind us of that natural state of oneness and connection and cooperation, which ultimately leads to healing. So healing is going back to your natural state of being, right? Before we dive into how and why crystals are so powerful for soul healing, first we need to understand what soul healing is in the first place. The thing is, soul healing, in my opinion, and you don't have to agree with everything that I say, it's just what I have observed from what I've read, from what I've researched, and from what I have observed. It's also empirical. I observe things in my career, right? As a researcher, it's not just about theory, but about how the world reacts to whatever it is that we do. So healing is actually an intermediary state because we divide ourselves, we pull away from our perfect, healthy, happy, natural state of being because of our life experiences that were painful. And we stay in the pain until we decide to heal. So healing is going back to your natural state of being. And if we don't work on our mindset and keep our minds aligned with higher consciousness, we'll eventually develop something else that will require healing again. So healing is intermediary because you really heal ultimately when you treat the root cause of whatever it is that caused the imbalance. And that is always our state of consciousness and our mindset and our thought patterns. So the first thing we need to understand about soul healing, I would say, is that it brings us back to our truth. This is a very powerful word when it comes to crystals. Hey, I see some people coming online. Hi, Ernesto. Great to see you. Oh, some people from Brazil. Hi, Janine. Great. Love it. So what I'm saying here is that when we come back to our truth, we heal. Truth heals and protects at the same time. And what some indigenous cultures, especially in Central and North America, have been saying for thousands of years, is that crystals are information transmitters. In the presence of crystals, you receive soul information. And that information is the truth, right? That you have been estranged from. When you go back to the truth, when you accept and bow down to the truth heals and protects you. So they don't even have different words for truth, healing, and protection in some of these cultures. The same word means truth, healing, and protection mean the same thing. And crystals have this power according to these cultures. And I did not believe that right off the bat. I said, that's wonderful. I love it. I love traditional cultures. I love all that. It doesn't mean what they're saying is true. I'm kind of a doubting Thomas, I have to see it for myself. And every time I've tested this for years, I've been doing this, decades already. This really reveals itself to be true, to the point that I've created a method called the Cardinal Method of Life Connection that now has become a system for soul healing, energy healing, that other energy healing practitioners have taken the training in and are giving me amazing feedback. And so it's not just me. Now there are a lot of people confirming this for 2 whole years already. Cardinal Method is relatively new, but we already have dozens of people seeing this happen, right? So the crystals will bring intuitively accurate information about what it is that you need to do in order to heal. So they bring the truth, and healing has everything to do with going back to your truth, right? Reclaiming the truth that you disconnected yourself from, or whoever it is that you're helping in a healing journey. And it also brings us back. Soul healing is about going back to your personal nature. It's very much about being yourself, not living in facades or accommodating yourself to social pressure or pleasing others and bowing down to the pressure of more intense people in your family or in your culture, whatever it is, right? So when we go back to our truth, to our personal nature, and to our human nature, Because whenever we engage in separation and resentment and toxic emotions, we will eventually need healing. Okay? So, what indigenous wisdom tells us is that human souls heal with the truth. And there are two practical ways, the most powerful ways for us to heal as human beings, for the human soul to be healed. And this is also about the body, because the body is not autonomous. It doesn't get sick or lose its health on its own. Something emotional happens and disrupts the balance of the body. So every disease in the body is a symbol of what's going on in your soul. Okay, that's the approach that we come from here. This is our perspective here. Okay. So what happens, what indigenous cultures have been saying for a while, and what I really did incorporate in the Carnal Method, is the principle that the human soul heals with more powerfully than anything else with two tools, which are stories and animals. Animals heal the human soul. Each animal has a specific spiritual power that has the ability to heal whatever your soul is lacking in that moment or in that lifetime. That's why some people have specific power animals as their personal power animals. It's because in that specific chunk of time of their trajectory, right, which is a lifetime, that's what they need to work on and develop. So why are crystals important for this? Stories and animals heal the human soul because crystals are information transmitters. They bring forth the truth and they tell stories. They really do. When you work with crystals for soul healing, you will get the perfect insights, the laser beam insights that you need in order to heal. Or if you're a practitioner and you're helping others heal, you'll receive the downloads, you'll receive the revelations, the intuition, the insight. The information is going to come to you. The information of what it is you need to do in order to heal will come to you in the presence of crystals. And if they're organized in a specific way, like the Cardinal Method is a system that uses crystals as tools. Crystals are not the gravitational center of the Cardinal Method. The consciousness behind what animates the crystals and the way they're displayed in the sessions is what really matters, right? But so we don't want crystals to be seen. It's not the thing. It's not the material thing. You don't attribute the power to an external energy. Your mind is the one who's going to do all the healing. Your consciousness, right? Your personal shifts will create your healing. But the crystals help. The practitioners that are there to aid you help. They're not the ones healing you, but they are there to bring assistance, as the animals, as the stories are, right? So still speaking of soul healing, I really feel it's important to point out something that Don Miguel Ruiz, who you are probably very familiar with, right? The person who wrote the 4 Agreements and then the 5th Agreement. He said that in order for us to heal, and not just him, a lot of other, authorities in the field of healing have said this too, that in order for us to heal, we need to feel the pain. And we often don't want to do that, right? So in order to heal, first comes pain. That's why a lot of people avoid healing. And you cannot heal something if you don't feel it. And why are crystals so powerful? Because they will help diminish the intensity of the emotional pain. And I first found out about this when I was taking my constellation training back in Brazil. That was now 11 years ago. And the pain and the depth of the suffering, the collective suffering of a family soul was so intense. I would have to be in bed for maybe a week just to recover from those constellation processes. They were so intense, so dramatic, that I asked my instructors to please let me bring crystals to the constellations. And I remember this to this very day, because To this day, some of the most beautiful stones I've ever laid eyes on, that I've ever been in physical contact with, are either they came from a specific friend that is the most amazing crystal hunter that I know. So he has given me a lot of beautiful specimens. Others were crystals that I found and that I felt that I needed to give them to the people in the constellation, specific people, sometimes pieces of jewelry. And I felt, you need this, just take it, because that was very important for the person's healing. So that's another thing, just a little parenthesis. Crystals do whatever they want. Okay. They just go to whoever they want to go. They will show up when they need to show up. They will vanish when they feel like they need a break. If you wear like a bracelet for too long and you just need a rest and you just need some dynamic energy to come back, just to alternate and have some variety, that bracelet will just vanish for a while and then you'll find it out of the blue. And crystals like to travel. You do not own them. They don't belong to you. They're with you for the time being. And they may just want to travel to someone else. Just last week, I felt that I needed to give a green calcite to a friend. And that green calcite had been with me for easily more than 10 years. And I worked a lot with that stone in many constellation fields, thousands of visualizing the soul sessions. And I felt that, okay, now is the time for this crystal to go to this person. And it wasn't even my choice. You just feel that the crystal needs to go and travel and flow, right? So just so you know, crystals like to travel. They like to flow. They have their own path. You don't own them. They're not your property. They're with you for a small or a large period of time, and then they will just go. Okay, so that's important for you to understand. Another thing that, so Don Miguel, going back to what I was saying, Don Miguel Ruiz has said that, and I know this sounds really gross, but that's just, I have not yet found a better image to describe this. And this helps me bring the point of why crystals are so powerful for soul healing, which is the fact that when we are in pain and we don't address it, the pain doesn't go away. It just stays there. It'll fester and become an abscess, right? I told you it's gross, but just bear with me. I'm not going to be using that metaphor for too long. So what happens is, if you don't feel whatever needs healing, it's going to grow. It's going to snowball, okay? And it's what we call a wound in your soul. And that wound, if it's there for too long without being addressed, it will fester and it will become an abscess. Now, if you don't do this in your lifetime, it's like our ancestors. This is really about family constellations as well. When our ancestors create a lot of pain and they don't address that, that remains in the family soul as unfinished business. And that will come up as something that the next generations will have to deal with. That's why I love indigenous wisdom, because they say, lead an impeccable life. Meaning, the more impeccable is not perfect. Impeccable means you do your best and you don't aim for perfectionism. You aim for the truth. Just be truthful. Just do your best. Don't leave any loose strings behind, because if you do, your descendants will have to deal with that. And some people tell me, it's such a common thing that they tend to say, that's okay, I'm not having children, so I'm not passing on generational trauma. I can do whatever I want. Not true. I cannot even tell you how powerful aunts and uncles are upon the lives of their descendants. So nieces and nephews, especially third and fourth generation. So great, the sister of your grandmother or the great grandmother, the third and fourth generation before you, grandparents and great grandparents, the aunts and uncles have the status of a parent. And if you have a very troubled aunt or uncle who was, led a very terrible and suffered so much in life, that may be impacting your life or your child's life without you knowing about it. Okay. So what we can do right now in our present moment is start healing ourselves. And when we heal ourselves, I told you, it ripple effects everywhere around you. The surroundings will benefit just because you're working on yourself and healing your own soul. Okay. So Don Miguel Ruiz says that there are three, this is in the Fifth Agreement, it's in that book. He says that there are three steps to healing, consecutive steps. The first one is the truth. So if the festering wound in the soul has become an abscess, what you need to do is create an incision, right? Get a scalpel and just, get a knife and just explode it, because how else is it going to heal? So the scalpel, the knife, is the truth. And that's why it hurts. That's why a lot of us don't want to hear it. That's why a lot of us just avoid the truth. We don't want to face it because it's painful, right? But if you want to engage in soul healing, it's necessary. It's what separates people who are committed to leading an adult life and to create fulfillment for themselves, and the ones who don't. So if you don't want to face the truth, you're going to live half of your life. The other half is just going to be potential, untapped potential, non-manifested potential. You will not be a fulfilled person if you don't live in the truth. And not living in the truth creates a lot of guilt, and that creates a weight in your soul. That's another wound in the soul, right? So you don't want the negative energy to snowball in your soul, correct? So the three steps to healing, and crystals really help with this, because the first step is to face the truth, right? It's the knife that cuts through the abscess. Crystals reveal the truth. So you see, it's very logical. They bring forth the truth, therefore they help heal. The second step that Don Miguel Ruiz mentions is forgiveness of self and others. So if someone has done you harm and you want to heal your soul, there's no way you can get around forgiveness. You cannot heal your soul by holding on to resentment. Forget it. That's magic thought. That's avoiding being an adult, okay? So an emotionally immature person wants to hold on to grudges. And what I have noticed in my practice is that this is often in the DNA. So maybe as an individual, you're not a resentful person, at least not consciously, right? But maybe you come from a family in which people just hold resentment. It's generational. It's in the cells. And this is actually has been proven by science. The cell walls, the membranes of our cells have neuropeptides, which are like lock and key mechanisms. So if the cell walls are distorted by emotional grudges, as an example, they will connect to molecules of emotion that are harmful. And that's going to start depleting your physical body. Nothing is just physical. Everything is first consciousness, then energy, and then it becomes matter, right? So manifestation is the last piece of the puzzle. It's just the last layer, manifestation in the physical world, because first things are going on energetically, and they have been going on for a while and not been addressed until they manifest. We did have a live session about the 5 languages of consciousness, so you guys can look that up. Just watch it on YouTube or in IGTV on Instagram. So more often than not, when people need soul healing, we need to address the DNA level. And it's important that you right now observe your family and see what kind of traits the family tends to have. Are you immersed in a resentful family? The good news is, as an individual, the more you raise your vibrations and you consciously choose to address releasing resentment, you will notice people around you changing. Your family members are going to start to slow down. Healing happens collectively. I'll tell you that. And why are crystals powerful for forgiveness? Because they're very joyful beings, okay? Crystals don't really want to waste time with emotional drama. There's no patience for drama in the crystal world. So what happens is they bring forth the truth, they bring accurate information, they're information transmitters, And they want you to move out of your funk. They want you to get out of drama. They want you to get out of anything that's not the joy of life. Crystals are very joyful beings. And even the most grumpy person you know, in the presence of a beautiful crystal, will melt. I have seen this so many times. I have a huge family, and some of my uncles, or maybe aunts as well, are so grumpy. And, if I would hand them a crystal, just give them a stone, they would like, oh, it just melts their heart. You can try to do this with grumpy people. Get a beautiful stone and see if they don't melt. Okay. And the thing about forgiveness, which is the second step to healing your soul, is that forgiveness is a mechanism for the lightness of being. I told you, crystals are very high vibrational beings. So there is no coexistence between high vibration and the heaviness of resentment, right? About self and about others. Because there are people who are very quick to forgive others, who don't want to hold grudges against other people. They don't want to have any kind of messed up relationship with another person, but they treat themselves terribly. They don't forgive themselves for anything that they've done. They're not nice to themselves, So forgiveness has to do with forgiving others and forgiving self. So that's the second step. And if you look at Don Miguel Ruiz's metaphor, which is kind of gross, but it's very important for us, it just gives us a very vivid image, is that once you cut the abscess, you need to clean it. You need to cleanse the wound, get all the pus out. And that's the forgiveness part of healing. Okay. So truth cuts the abscess and forgiveness cleans it out. And the third and last step is to put a balm on it so that the wound can heal. And the balm is self-love. This is a rose quartz. So this is the master's crystal for unconditional love everywhere. And in the Cardinal method, especially self-love. So self-love is an act of soul healing. It is the balm after the truth and forgiveness process. And why are crystals powerful when it comes to self-love? Because if you love yourself, you want to be happy. If you love yourself, you want the joy of life. That's why I keep saying soul healing if needed, consciousness expansion, and the joy of life. People who don't love themselves don't give themselves permission to the joy of life. They just suffer. They are too busy to be happy. They're too busy for free time, too busy for anything that's related to the joy of life. And what crystals want for you is the joy of life. They're not so much, they're very loving beings too, but they want you to have fun. And no one who has a very damaged soul is able to have fun. Okay, so we create soul healing so that we can expand our consciousness, and only then the joy of life is going to be meaningful, because we cannot mistake the joy of life for distractions. Party people are not necessarily happy people. Don't mistake superficial fun and escape mechanisms. A lot of people indulge and call that joy of life. That's not true. That's just them fooling themselves. So don't mistake the concepts, right? Once you heal your soul, then you can know the joy of life, because your consciousness expands because you have faced the pain. So there are many ways to expand your consciousness. One of them is learn the lessons that pain brings to you. The only reason why pain exists is so that we can learn the lesson. But if we take the initiative to expand our consciousness, we don't really need harsh lessons. If we don't engage in toxicity, in toxic emotions, in toxic thoughts, we are expanding our consciousness, and then we don't need the harsh lessons, right? So all that being said, we can now dive into the crystal world. I just want to say hi, Edna and Kale and Kristen. All these Cardinal Method practitioners are here. I love it. People in the Course in Human Nature. Hi, Lily. Great to see you. So what is the power of crystals? There are many powers, right? And specific crystals have very specific vibrations. That's why we have the Crystals and Chakras meditation series, because every week a new crystal brings a specific type of soul healing and a specific type of consciousness expansion for you if you meditate with them. And it realigns the cellular blueprint of your body. So specific stones have specific powers, but in general, there are many powers of all crystals that I want to share with you in this live session. So the first one I've already said, right? They're information transmitters. This is a power. Don't think this is magic thought. And I'm so happy to see that in the 21st century, the world is coming to a phase in which science and spirituality are merging, which is so awesome, right? I'm sure you love that too. People who watch these live sessions love the fact that science is merging with spirituality. So every computer has quartz crystal. This one, clear quartz. Not sure if you can see, but I'm showing this to the Instagram people and the YouTube people. So they transmit information about the soul. So you need information to heal, right? You need accurate information. They're laser beams. They bring the truth, they heal, and they protect. So already 4 powers. Information transmitters, the truth accurately is delivered to you. They bring the healing because the truth heals immediately if you're open, if you allow it. Because seriously, you can have all the abundance and all the tools outside of you. If you don't let it in, it's not going to work. We know that, right? So it heals if you allow it, and it creates protection. What does that mean? Whenever we live in the truth, we do not attract harm to ourselves. People who have something to hide, people who don't connect to their truths, are going to learn the lesson the hard way. And we don't need necessarily to go through painful situations in order to learn if we open our minds and choose to expand our consciousness. We take the initiative of that. So crystals are information transmitters. The more you connect to them, the more you connect to the truth, the more you heal your soul, and the more protected you are. As I said, you won't need the hard lessons. The third power that I love, and this is so amazing, and this is really what makes crystals stand out in the energy healing field. I told you I needed to add crystals to family constellation fields because it was almost unbearable, right? And you can trust. I really want you to incorporate this in your life. This is so, so powerful. If you have an insight or an intuition holding a crystal, if you take the time to meditate and to just connect to the stone for whatever it is that you need, maybe you need insight about a situation. If crystals are involved, just trust that you're getting the accurate information. Okay, it's like a laser beam. There's a question here. If I feel any energy with moss agate, I feel a lot of energy with all crystals. All crystals are very powerful. And if you guys are in a Crystals and Chakras meditation series, you know that every crystal there, and every week there's a new one. So we're over 30 crystals. I need a 20 to 30 minute video just to tell you what's the information about a single stone. Okay, moss agate is going to be there. It's not there yet. But I'm not going to sidetrack now because otherwise we just lose the thread here, okay? But there's a lot of energy with moss agate. It's very powerful. All agates are beautiful. And in the Cardinal Method, they mean something very important. If you want to look at my website, my spiritual jewelry website, in the Cardinal Method, moss agate is abundance of the land. So I'm just going to write this down here and you can check the concepts in my website. Otherwise, we lose I'm just going to type this here for spiritual jewelry. You guys can look there to see what the Cardinal Method brings about the stones. But more specifically, I really believe if you really want to dive in, that the Crystals and Chakras meditation series is the path. Okay. Edna is saying, just watching the movie Heal. Yeah. Love it. That movie speaks so much to our souls, right? So you can really trust the information that you get when you connect to crystals. They bring forth the truth as laser beams. It's accurate information. It's not about beating around the bush. Because another one of the attributes of crystals, another power, is speed. Things happen fast. They don't have a lot of patience for for laggers. Things don't linger a lot, too much. They just get to the point. It's really about getting to the point. So it's accurate and it's fast. I remember, and I really have tested soul healing with and without crystals. Whenever I've gone through soul healing without crystals, especially, painful soul healing like family constellations, it took me a week to recover, or, throughout the process, I was so depleted. It was horrendous. And with the stones, this is really true. And other practitioners have said this too. People tested this 10 years ago with me in Brazil, and they did say that it was different. It's 10 times stronger, and it's 10 times faster, and it's 10 times less painful. They really do, things just happen in the most soothing way possible so that you suffer the least in soul healing processes when crystals are involved. Okay? So accuracy is a huge power. Speed is a huge power, right? They work really, really fast. Another one is depth. And they're just, very straightforward, to the point, and very deep. Because something is simple, it doesn't mean it's not powerful. So they're accurate to the point, but they go deep in your soul. They get to the root cause. Because if you're talking about the truth, it's not the superficial layers, right? You're getting to the root cause of things. So it's deep. Crystals bring 10 times more depth with 10 times less pain. I really see Cardinal Method practitioners verifying this. And as not just me, right? Other people are doing this too. And another thing that's another power of crystals is divine proportion. Because stones have internal geometry. Natural stones have internal geometry. Some do not. But even the natural solids that do not have internal geometry, they bring forth the truth actually faster, and they put you in the flow of life. Instead of being in the vicious loop of karma, not connected to life. That's why this is called the Cardinal Method of life connection, to plug you in the matrix of life instead of being in a hamster wheel of suffering, which is not life. It's just survival and repeating karma, right? So you want to get out of that. You want to dive into the flow of life in happiness and joy and the lightness of being. So what I want you to do is pay attention to healing processes that are just right. And that's another thing that crystals bring as benefits for soul healing. That's one other reason that they're so powerful for soul healing. Things happen in divine proportion. I feel so confident to say this to all my clients and to all my students and all the people who are training in the Cardinal Method, everyone in our mentorship, that nothing, at least in the Cardinal Method, that you use crystals with will be what you cannot handle. It's always as much as you can handle. This is called divine proportion. And because they have internal geometry, they align our energy field, they align our consciousness, and they bring divine proportion to the healing. It's not going to be overwhelming, as opposed to other types of energy healing who do not include crystals in a scientific way and a spiritual way too, right? Because it's not just about science. There's this fetish, oh, it's scientific, so then it has credibility. Something with credibility needs to include unconditional love when it comes to healing. It needs to include the spiritual aspect too, not just the scientific as well, but put your heart in it. Put your love and your soul for the best of all involved. It's the mindset of unconditional love that ultimately heals. And crystals have that infused in them as natural beings. So when it comes to divine proportion in soul healing, crystals will bring the exact amount of energy that you can handle. they're very careful. It's always in the most soothing way. I'm not saying it's always going to be easy. Some healings are hardcore because they need to be. Otherwise, it's just going to stay there festering, and you really need an intervention. And sometimes it's a little hardcore, but it's nothing you can't handle, and it's happening in the most soothing way possible. You can truly trust this, okay? It's nothing you can handle, and it's happening in the most soft way possible, in the kindest way possible. Crystals do take care of you. Mother Nature takes care of us, right? Mother Nature is kind. So the more we include natural beings in our soul healing, the more we connect to Mother Nature, and the more we go back to our perfect, healthy, happy human nature, right? So information transmitters, they bring truth, heal, and protect at the same time. Accuracy, speed, depth, divine proportion. So a lot of powers already, right? And this is another thing too, and this is awesome because it's not just it's immediate because of insights, but the more you practice, the better it gets. Hi, Lucia. Oh, I see so many people coming online. So good to see you. So this is more of a medium term and a long term structural thing for people who are truly committed, because we have a lot of curiosity sometimes. We have interest, and then we commit, right? So these are different levels of depth. But the more you commit to the use of stones in a serious way, you will start developing more objective thinking, as opposed to confusion, as opposed to subjective thinking. To when our thinking is too contaminated by emotional trauma, our thoughts get all twisted, and our interpretations of the world have so many distorted filters. So we don't see clearly. We don't have a lot of objective thinking when we're hurt. So the more we heal our souls, and when we use crystals, this happens more intensely, we develop more objective thinking. Okay, so seeing the truth as it is, just this stability and this pragmatism in a good way, in which we think objectively versus drama, versus emotional addictions to pain. The habit of painful emotions is really hard to get. Sometimes deep seated. It can be very ingrained in our person's soul. So it takes layers and layers for that person to change, right? And releasing a toxic emotional habit, especially if it's been cultivated for a very long time, for years or decades, is not easy. And crystals help with that. So they help with drama, they help with emotional addictions to pain, to the emotional habits of painful mindsets, and with belief systems, because beliefs are the opposite of the truth, right? We may have so many limiting beliefs that are not, they are partially true, because whatever you believe is true will be for your life. You are the creator of your life. You're the artist of your life. So if you believe that life is evil, your life will be confirming that, and you'll be attracting evil energy for yourself. But if you change your mindset and you expose yourself to newer, brighter, more healthy ideas, you will dissolve that belief system that life is evil and see life with clear eyes as it is, right? There is evil in the world. It's not about turning the blind eye on and putting on, pink goggles to see reality, but it's about seeing things objectively as a whole. See life as it is, the good and the not so good, the good and the bad, the holy and the evil forces. Everything exists. Whatever you focus your mind on, you attract in your life. But the more willing you are to see the truth and willing to develop objective thinking, the more you will release the drama from your life, the more you will release the limiting beliefs from your life, and the emotional addictions to pain, recreating painful experiences that may come from your emotions. We just see the people coming online. Great to see you guys. Okay, so those are the powers of crystals that I wanted to share with you. And just to end this live session, what I suggest, what can you do? How can you use crystals, right, for your benefit? What are the practical ways to use stones? The first one, if you had to choose, I would really suggest that you wear crystal jewelry. Real natural stones on your body. This brings you back to your nature and to nature as a whole. It brings you back to Mother Nature. Okay. Oh, so sweet. Thank you. Via Natural Medicine saying hi. So wear crystal jewelry or natural solids. So these are elongated pearls. I'm wearing all these bracelets here, stone ring. Just wear crystals on your body. Your body will thank you, and your soul will thank you too, because your body is a manifestation of your soul, right? Your body and your soul are merged together. So because crystals elevate our vibrational frequency, the more you wear crystal jewelry, the more you'll be raising your vibrational frequency as an individual, as a person. And it's silent and it's effortless. You just put beauty on yourself and just go, right? They're beautiful, they're colorful, they bring joy, and they benefit your energy field because the internal geometry aligns your field and the colors heal the soul. This is chromotherapy 101. Crystals do that. So just wear crystal jewelry. I love it. The second one is to have them in your environment. So especially, I always say this, the size of your hand or larger, but not huge chunks, okay? If I have a 600 square feet space, you don't want to have huge geodes of crystals there because it may override your central nervous system. It's too much. 1 centimeter of crystal has 1 meter range of energy. So don't overwhelm your environment with too many crystals of huge sizes, okay? Size does matter. Shape doesn't matter so much. What matters most, at least in the beginning, is the internal geometry of the stone, but the size matters, right? Remember divine proportion. You want to align with divine proportion in your life. So don't crowd the crystals in a single corner in your home. Just let them flow, just let them breathe, and place different crystals in reasonable sizes that are proportional to the environment that you are placing them in. Okay? But have them in your environment. They're awesome. They really raise the vibration. The third practice, the third tip that I suggest for soul healing with crystals, and to really see how powerful they are for soul healing, and this is for the ones who are more committed, right? Because it requires you to sit down and meditate, is to meditate with crystals. Now I know, and I don't want to disrespect any religious tradition. A lot of, especially in the East, a lot of religious traditions or, some systems of meditation will say that you don't want any distractions in your meditation. So you can't have music, you can't have essential oils in the diffuser, you can't have incense, you can't have crystals, because that would be a distraction to your inward process. And I get it, I understand. But if you are willing to engage in the soul healing process with stones, meditating with crystals is powerful. It's different. You can try, meditate without them and meditate with them. I suggest you just hold the stone, sit down for 10 minutes and see what happens, see what kinds of insights you have. I'll tell you, if you have a question to ask yourself, and remember that all the answers are inside you, just trust your heart, okay? No one else outside of you, no guru, no master will have your answers. Your answers are within. Maybe someone outside of you may inspire you or may say something that resonates with your truth, but what matters is your truth. It's what's going on right here in your heart. So if you meditate with a crystal, you will get the insights and the accuracy a lot faster, and it's joyful. I'll tell you, they raise the vibrations. It's a joyful energy. So it makes your meditation practice different. And I love it. I always meditate with stones. They just ground me Just bring Mother Nature, this feminine, beautiful Mother Nature energy to the meditation. And I do this and I recommend it. I describe it. Hey, new people coming online. So I describe this in my books and I really recommend that, especially if you want to address anything that's emotionally bothering you. Crystals are balms, right? They are self-love tools. Just give yourself the gift and meditate with crystals. That's what I suggest. The fourth suggestion is to work with them in your dreams. And this is something, so we're going deeper, right? A little bit deeper into the work of with crystals. To work with them for your dreams, this is nothing you should be scared of. I don't like superstition about crystals. Some people say they're dangerous. You can't wear black stones near your heart. I think that's superstition. All crystals are holy. All crystals are sacred. They will not ever harm you. What harms you is your mind or someone else's mind that may pierce your energy field if you allow it. So the crystal won't harm you ever. They're not dangerous beings, okay? But if you're working with them in your sleep, not in meditation you can meditate with any stone. But if you want to, for example, ask for lucid dreams, if you want to ask for an answer for any kind of dilemma you're going through, and you want that to come in a dream, I love it. I would love that, if you did this, if you were asked a crystal to help you with that, and I'll suggest 3 crystals that are awesome to sleep with. Some crystals will make you agitated in your sleep. I do not recommend golden tiger eye to sleep with, for instance, especially if you're more agitated yourself, right? Then you get an agitated stone. Your sleep is not going to be, it's going to be a light sleep, not a deep sleep. So we really want to be mindful of that. Native Americans, indigenous in general, will suggest red jasper as the best crystal to work in the dream world. It's the piece of Mother Earth. It's soothing. It's wonderful. It is a dream crystal. So I have some here. Just let me show you. I love this one. So this is red jasper. And it's great. So if you want to work with crystals in your dreams and ask for soul healing in dreams, awesome. Red jasper is great. Indigenous cultures also love clear quartz, right? And also obsidians. But I really don't recommend you start working with obsidians in your dreams in the beginning. Obsidians, you can meditate with them. They're awesome, but they're lava, right? They're vitrified lava. So they're pretty intense and kind of hardcore. So clear quartz is also great. Clear quartz connects you to your higher self. And your higher self has all the answers. It just brings you the peace that you need. So red jasper and clear quartz are great. And the crystal of unconditional love and love for self. Rose quartz is soothing. It's wonderful. People have asked me about dreams and sleep when it comes to babies. For babies who have agitated sleep. And the best stone for babies for me that I really recommend is angelite. Okay, it's a blue stone. So sweet and so soothing and great for babies. Celestite is great too. Light blue crystals are great. So dreams, work with crystals for your dreams. That's another, because remember, they're accurate information transmitters. So your dreams are going to be very, hey, love it. So Lily's saying that smoky quartz is great too. Yes, depending on the person. It's also a very soothing stone. Ella's saying selenite under your pillow. Selenite is always wonderful. White selenite especially. I like to put them under my pillow. All crystals that, I suggest you sleep with, just place them under your pillow in a shape that's not uncomfortable, a size that's not uncomfortable. Personal crystals between, usually 2-inch crystals are good. I would say, size kind of matters. So 2 inches, 2 to 3 inches tops would be a good size. Okay. Or maybe even smaller if you're a small person. If you don't have a lot of body mass, right? If you're a small, tiny person, maybe this size. This is the size I would suggest for children too, 1 inch in diameter, and for skinny, tiny people, adults that are very tiny. Okay. And the last the last suggestion that I have for you is to use them in energy healing practices. So this is going even deeper. For energy healing to happen with crystals, you need specific training. But if you're already an energy healing practitioner and you want to add crystals to your practice, it's awesome. You will intuitively feel where they need to go and how you need to use them and which crystals want to come your way. And if you want to become a Cardinal Method practitioner, we're going to open the course for enrollment soon. We'll let you know. And you can, see our website or write us an email if you're interested in becoming a Cardinal Method practitioner. But regardless of that, if you are an energy healing professional, or if you've had energy healing training just to work on yourself and your family members and your loved ones, adding crystals to other energy healing systems is awesome. Okay. I told you, I started bringing them to constellation fields. I started bringing crystals to the family constellations, and they were such best friends for me. That's why I created the Cardinal Method, which is constellations with crystals and many other things, right? Reiki, white apophyllite. All apophyllites are great for Reiki. I see how they resonate with Reiki in my perception and research. Apophyllite and Reiki walk hand in hand. It's the master stone of Reiki for me, in my opinion. And any other energy healing modality that welcomes crystals, of course, you need to respect the protocols, right? Don't go Frankensteining the protocols that you're trained in. But if the energy healing system that you have certifications in relies on crystals, such as the Cardinal Method, or if they allow stones, the crystals are always going to bring beautiful energy to your practice. All right? So that's what I wanted to share with you. I'm so happy to see you all here. So wonderful to see all your presences, to feel your presences and to have you. And if you're watching the recording, I want to thank you for this as well. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you share it with people, and that you ask at least one of your friends to come to our channels, to come to Instagram and subscribe to our YouTube channel, so that we can increase, right, our beautiful community, which is growing. And the more we work together, the stronger we are to create a beautiful, awesome world. And we are on the road for that, which is great, right? Thank you, beautiful people. It's been wonderful. I'll see you guys soon. If you have any questions, just DM us, just comment under this video, just send us an email. The website and Instagram, you can just see the link in the bio. And on YouTube, I'm just going to write this here right now. You can just go to paularenova.com and enjoy it. All right. Thank you. Blessings. See you guys soon. Bye-bye. Happy New Year to all of you. Thanks, Ala. Yeah. 2021 is here to bring awesomeness to our lives, right? So thank you so much. Shirley, you're here. You're new. Welcome. Oh, from Singapore. I'm so honored. This is so awesome. Hi, Sarah. Love you. So happy to see you. Happy New Year, my dear. I love it. The Cardinal Method practitioners are in these live sessions, and those who are just, with us on Instagram and YouTube, you're so, so dear to me. I really appreciate your presences, and I love having you all in my life. Thank you. Feel very blessed and very lucky. See you guys soon. Bye-bye.